Tonight on the Clash of Champions, over 5,000 pounds of flying, slamming fury collides in the center of the ring with the biggest and the baddest battle royal. The World Tag Team belts will be claimed by one of wrestling's toughest two teams. Stunning Steve puts his World TV title on the line. The United States Champion meets the Flamboyant Fist, and contracts will be signed for the world's most prestigious prize. Tonight, when World Championship Wrestling presents the Fall Brawl.
Backbone Wrestling Network, thank you for joining us here on Clash of the ChampBones, episode number 16. And of course, we're going to be talking about Clash of the Champions 16 Fall Brawl that took place on September 5th, 1991. And there is nobody. I am so excited to have this man with me today because he is my tag team partner on so many other shows. He's the man that I probably record the most with, the one and only Mr. Logjam himself, Logan Crosland, the backbone of the backbone. Welcome back, Logjam. How are you, buddy?
I'm here with my noose in tow. I will be probably hanging myself somewhere throughout this podcast because you really put one to me here, Keithie. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think you'll admit it, but I was your second choice for this one. And I kind of wish I was about your 10th choice. So, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Hey, listen, I told you what Clash we were watching. And
I'm just fucking with you.
And you said yes. And then I told you what the main event was. And you went, oh, God damn it. But you are correct. I had asked Scott Shiflett to do this one because I believe he and I had already done like the two previous fall brawls, or he had done a fall brawl and I think he had done like another, I don't know. So I said, oh, you should come back for fall brawl. And he was like, sure. But then things changed and I had asked him, or I'd asked you, I said, would you mind doing this? You said, of course. Anything for you, buddy, I believe is what you put in the Facebook message. But yeah, no, I mean, this is, and it's funny because I had actually said to you, I go, did you review this for 7 Months of Danger? And I don't think you did. Because
we started on Halloween Havoc 91, and this is before that. So this is like maybe literally like the show right before we started the pod. So.
Yes, this is the show because this is the show that's prepping for Halloween Havoc 91. So, but I had said to you, I go, well, look on the bright side. If you had reviewed this for 7 Months of Danger, you wouldn't have to rewatch it again. And you were like, no, I'll rewatch this. And as you were rewatching this, you were sending me pretty much, I'm going to say death threats, saying like, how dare you, kid, make me fucking watch this. You were like, it's around my birthday and I'm watching this horse shit of a show. And
yeah, I watched this on my birthday. Just let that sink in.
Oh God.
I wasted my birthday watching this drizzling dude.
Now I think the drizzle shit. When you said, I love the phrase, the drizzle shits. And I love it even better when it's coming from you because you really do watch so much drizzle shits.
Yeah, so, this isn't the only WCW show from Virginia I watched this week. Just think about that. That's not the only. This isn't the only WCW podcast I will be doing from the state of Virginia this week. So
good Lord.
Me and Schiff will be visiting the Norfolk Scope, of course.
Oh boy.
For Thunder this later on this week. So
for Thunder?
For Thunder. I think Tim.
Thunder.
I think it's the one Tim went to actually.
Fucking Thunder kid. Oh boy. Oh, so that's good. You should have him on as a special guest commentator. If you had only done the Nitro from the Fleet Center or the Boston Gardens kid back when it was called the Fleet Center in 1997, you could have had me on and I could have talked about it being there. But that's okay. That's the famous one where Sting is. Well, not famous. It's one of the ones where Sting comes down. I think that's the one that ends where I think like Piper and DDP are getting beat up. And then Sting comes down and he rescues Pipe. I think he rescues DDP. But I think Piper, he either leaves Piper or Piper escapes. I forget. But yeah, I was at that. I was in the audience on the floor, actually. I believe I was sitting on the floor. So yeah. Wow. Anyway. But we are at Clash of the Champions 16 Fall Brawl. As I said, this took place on September 5th, 1991. We are ready to go. We had 9 matches or 8 matches and a battle royal, and not too many extra curricular segments, I should say, which is pretty good. So we had kind of had at least a little string the last couple of shows where they're introducing new people and they're giving us like vignettes of these newcomers. We didn't have that. I believe there's only one debut on this show of a new person. So, and we'll get to that. It's a very quick one, but we start off, I should say we start off, we have Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone are going to be doing the play-by-play and the color commentary. Missy Hyatt and Paul E. Dangerously open up the show to tell us, welcome in. We have a couple of interview segments they're supposed to be doing later on. So, but the first contest we have is a 15-man battle royal, the Georgia Brawl, featuring the likes of, well, this is a nice eclectic group of members of the 1991 roster. We have Terrence Taylor, Ranger Ross, Big Josh, Thomas Rich, representing the Alexander York Foundation, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, I know one of your favorites, the Zed Man, Tom Zink, Young Pistol Tracy, as they call him, but it's Tracy Smothers, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, PN News, Steve Austin, who's the reigning WCW television champion, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, the One Man Gang, the man called Oz, and of course, oh, he Hunty. I also want to note that Big Josh, Tom Zink, and Dustin Rhodes are the 6-man tag team champions, so they come out with their championship titles, as well as Stunning Steve Austin, who again is the television champion. So, any thoughts about those guys?
Yeah, a hell of a crew in this match. Yeah, they dusted off Buddy Lee Parker for this one and Ranger Ross. Other than them two, I feel like they're all at least part of the roster. Oz obviously is a strange character to have in here, and he makes a hell of a run. So definitely wouldn't have expected that. But yeah, hell of a squad here for sure. Mm-hmm. I can't believe you made me watch a show where I had to watch Tom Zink twice, though. How dare you?
I know, that's the funny thing is that, yes, it's definitely, there's a twofer on here because Steve Austin and I looked at when that match happens too, because Steve Austin faces Tom Zink, and I'm going, is this the only? I go, those are the only two guys that wrestled that do double duty in here, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, and I guess
that is strange.
It's double duty, right? Like duty.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that for Zink, but Austin's all right.
All right, so again, we have as the bell rings.
Well, no, Terrence Taylor wrestles again. He's in the Battle Royal, I'm pretty sure.
Does he? Oh, he does wrestle. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
Well, barely, yeah.
Barely, yeah. So you're right, yeah. So Terrence Taylor is doing double duty. Technically, Bill Kazmaier does double duty. Well, if you think about the enforcers. Anyway, we'll get to it. So as soon as the bell rings, Elegante goes right after Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, locking him in a massive chokehold. Rather than tossing Parker over the top rope, however, Elegante simply manhandles him, showing he doesn't exactly have a firm grasp on the Battle Royal strategy. That comes into play a couple times during this match. The ring quickly fills with individual skirmishes as all 15 competitors start to pair off. PM News and Tom Zink work over Buddy Lee Parker, while Tracy Smothers attempts to dump Steve Austin over the top rope. Dustin Rhodes and Terrence Taylor exchange blows before Thomas Rich joins the fray with Rhodes. Elegante continues his domination by trapping Terrence Taylor in another towering chokehold, again choosing not to eliminate him. Several wrestlers try unsuccessfully to force the one-man gang over the top rope, but the big man refuses to budge. Meanwhile, Elegante lifts Buddy Lee Parker onto the top rope in another chokehold before dropping him harmlessly back into the ring, a second missed opportunity for an elimination. Barry Windham nearly sends Steve Austin to the floor, but Austin hangs on and recovers. Lady Blossom watching from the ringside, cheering on the reigning WCW World's Television Champion. Minutes into the match, despite the nonstop action, no one has yet to be eliminated. Thomas Rich is cornered by PN News and Tom Zanko. One-man gang fends off at a combined attack from Big Josh, Tracy Smothers, and Elegante. It's interesting to watch Steve Austin and Bobby Eaton square off here, considering this takes place shortly before the Dangerous Alliance is formed. Austin and Eaton both spill onto the ring apron, but Eaton shoves Austin back into the ring before climbing back in himself. The first elimination finally arrives when Big Josh skins the cat after nearly being thrown out. He manages to pull Terrence Taylor over the top rope with him, but Big Josh's own momentum carries him onto the floor. Ranger Ross also hits the floor during the sequence, making Ross, Big Josh, and Terrence Taylor the first 3 men eliminated. Barry Windham follows by knocking Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker off the apron. Tommy Rich soon exits as well, leaving the field noticeably thinner. Steve Austin eliminates Tracy Smothers while Dustin Rhodes battles Oz in the corner before Oz cuts him off with an inverted atomic drop. Bobby Eaton bravely checks on both Oz and the one-man gang, but is eventually thrown over the top rope onto the entrance ramp for another elimination. I swear I saw something earlier where, again, another show where there was like a battle royal or something where somebody went over the top rope and hit the ramp, and that didn't count, but it counts this time. So I don't know. I guess
they always change the rules to benefit whoever they were trying to push through at the time.
One-man gang then dumps PN News over the top rope, narrowing the field even further. The rivalry between Steve Austin and Barry Windham boils over as both men both eliminate each other simultaneously. Rather than head to the back, however, they continue brawling at ringside, ensuring their issues are far from settled. We're down to the final 4 now. Elegante, Dustin Rhodes, the one-man gang, and Oz. One-man gang and Oz briefly join forces against Elegante, crushing Dustin Rhodes in the corner before turning their attention back to the Giant. Elegante withstands the assault, fighting back with heavy punches and overpowering both men, despite the one-man gang clubbing him from behind. Dustin Rhodes tries to re-enter the fight, but is quickly overwhelmed, and Oz and the one-man gang combine to throw Rhodes over the top rope. Leaving 3 now. Rhodes over the top rope. Elegante, the one-man gang, and Oz. The remaining 2 big men attempt to find one final double team, but Elegante explodes with a double clothesline that sends both the one-man gang and Oz over the top rope simultaneously. Elegante is your winner, last eliminating the gang and Oz. Time 9 minutes and 33 seconds. Logan, I didn't think this was a terrible battle royal. A couple of missed opportunities, I think, from Elegante to eliminate people from the get-go, but I went overall, I said 2 stars on this. I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, pretty standard battle royal. Yeah, not terrible or anything. Actually had a more exciting finish than I was expecting. Even though Oz takes a bad bump on the I didn't quite get over the rope on the clothesline, so it was on me. Sorry, Gigante. But Windham gets things started out pretty awesomely. He eliminates 3 guys at once to kind of take the first big elimination. And that backdrop that beautiful Bobby takes on the ramp is pretty brutal. He hits with a pretty sick thud. So, and you can tell they're already kind of trying to pair off Windham and Austin. They obviously take each other out. I don't think they face each other until much later in the Dangerous Alliance. So I don't know if Windham gets hurt or if they just kind of splinter off and do different stuff at first. But I know they have a pretty good series of matches towards the kind of latter end of what was the Dangerous Alliance pod. So,
yes.
Hell of a foursome to end the match. Gang, Oz, Rhodes, and Gigante. One of these things is not like the other in that Dustin Rhodes is actually a good wrestler, and the rest of them are fucking terrible. At this point, of course.
That's the one-man gang you're talking about.
At this point, of course, one-man gang's a little over the hill. Nash isn't quite there yet, and Gigante is Gigante. So it's funny too that Gigante has 2 different notable gimmicks. The gang has 2 notable different gimmicks. I would say Dustin has 2. I know that he's like, what was he? Dark Rain? Was that? Yeah, Black Rain and Goldust.
Black Rain, yes. but he's also Dustin.
Those are the two gimmicks.
Yeah, those are kind of because he does
like
Black Rain, which is just basically Goldust. But we'll leave out 7, and then obviously Kevin Nash has Oz, Vinny Vegas, Diesel. So Kevin Nash. I count NWO Kevin Nash as a gimmick as well. So so it's kind of funny, like just multiple gimmick guys in those last 4. I actually really liked how Big Josh did the skinning of the cat. I thought that was kind of cool. That was it. It's funny watching Big Josh. It's like he is really good. He is like a really good wrestler. It's like, and you know what? I don't hate that. I love that Doink gimmick. I always have. Heel Doink, obviously, but I always love that Doink gimmick. So
he's not bad. He is pushed past his talent level at certain points. He has like a 40-minute match or some shit with Arn Anderson at one point, and I don't think he's quite the 30-minute man. He's probably better in like a 15-minute kind of situation. But he's a solid wrestler. Obviously he has the really good match with Brett at SummerSlam '93 when he's Doink. But
and he's got that. He's got those 3 matches with Perfect.
True.
The 2 matches. No, it is a trilogy, right? Yeah,
I think it's 3. Yeah.
Which he has with Perfect. Yeah,
and I think he has a good match with Jannetty too. I think they have a good match on Raw or something like that. Big Josh, really good wrestler. Maybe when he's not put in a bad situation, but
kind of saddled with like a stupid gimmick. Like the Big Josh gimmick is stupid, and that whole thing.
He's more that's more of his issue in the grand scheme of things. But I'd probably go like 1.5. I thought it was a good battle royal, but
that's not bad. All right, so we're not off to a bad start. I mean, we're not off to a bad start, and I don't think we even continue on to a bad start because we're dealing with Badstreet. And of course, I'm talking about the semifinal, one of the semifinal matches for the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship tournament. Of course, Badstreet being accompanied by Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. They come down to Badstreet, US of A. That song.
The funny thing is in my notes, it accidentally auto-corrected to Bradstreet, so obviously it's Brad Armstrong.
When I was doing my notes, because I'll pull back the curtain. I apologize to Scott Shiflett. I do what Sean Kidd does, which is I just basically dictate into my phone and it's into ChatGPT, and then it gives me the match output. I said Bradstreet like 3 times, like while I was saying it. So it's really funny that we both said Bradstreet. That's great.
I just noticed it, but I was like, holy shit, that's so funny.
Well, that's actually probably like what he was probably nicknamed in the locker room, I bet, when he was doing it. They probably called him Bradstreet, I bet you. So but of course, as we know, it is Brad Armstrong under the mask. I had talked about it would have been awesome if Yellow Dog was in the tournament as well. And then the match came down to Yellow Dog versus Badstreet. Like it just would have been awesome. Or if like somehow the bracket ended up where Brad Armstrong had to face Badstreet, and then they do. And I'm going to say this again. I made this joke once before about when Chad Gable was El Grande Americano. It would have been awesome if he had won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he can't cash it in as Chad Gable. So he has this thing where he's wrestling and like maybe he wrestles like the world champion or whatever, or the world champion is there and he comes down and he can't cash in because then he would give everybody away that he's El Grande. So it would have been the same thing. Like if Badstreet had won the light heavyweight title, he can't he can't pull off the mask and be, Brad Armstrong. But anyway, so this tournament matchup, we have Flying Brian Pillman versus Bradstreet. The second match of the evening is a semifinal bout in the tournament to crown the inaugural WCW light heavyweight champion. Brian Pillman takes on Badstreet, who's accompanied by Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. Before the match could begin, however, referee Randy Anderson ejects both Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin from ringside, forcing Bradstreet to go it alone. The opening exchange is a test of speed and athleticism. Bradstreet shoves Pillman to start things off, but Pillman quickly answers with a shoulder tackle after running through an Irish whip. Jim Ross reminds viewers that the tournament finals will take place at Halloween Havoc. Bradstreet attempts some gamesmanship by offering a handshake, but as Pillman reaches out, he drives a kick into the midsection and unloads with forearms in the corner. Pillman responds with an impressive leapfrog and head scissors takeover before rolling Badstreet into a victory roll for a near fall. A crisp arm drag transitions into an armbar, as Pillman establishes control early. Badstreet powers to his feet while trapped in the hold and forces Pillman into the corner, where the referee calls for a clean break. Instead, Badstreet immediately drives a shoulder into Pillman before sending him across the ring. Pillman avoids the charge, flips over the top rope, springs back in with a sunset flip for 2. Moments later, he catches Badstreet with a standing dropkick that sends him reeling towards the apron. The action spills to the outside of the ring as Pillman attempts to suplex Badstreet back into the ring. After a series of reversals, Badstreet wins the exchange by suplexing Pillman from the apron all the way to the arena floor. I thought that was good. Pillman ate shit too when he fell, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back inside, Badstreet keeps the pressure on by kicking Pillman off the apron and into the guardrail. I love that spot that Pillman does. I never realized how many times he does that, where he goes right from the apron onto the guardrail. On the outside, Pillman briefly fights back with some punches, but Badstreet yanks him face first into the ring post by the tights before returning into the ring to soak in the crowd's reaction. Pillman beats the referee's count, drives a shoulder into Badstreet's midsection from the apron, and immediately follows with a springboard crossbody for another near fall. Pillman regains control, or Badstreet, regains control with the Rude Awakening neckbreaker for 2 before planting Pillman with a body slam. Looking to finish things from the top rope, he climbs the turnbuckle, but Pillman cuts him off with a drop kick that sends him crashing to the floor. I thought that looked great. Pillman wastes no time launching himself through the ropes with a spectacular suicide dive that wipes out Badstreet on the outside, despite Pillman colliding with the ringside barrier himself. Back inside the ring, Pillman climbs to the top rope for a beautiful missile drop kick, but Badstreet also leaps into the air with a drop kick of his own. Both men, quote-unquote, connect simultaneously. Like, you could clearly tell they didn't even come anywhere near each other. But still, it looked impressive, at least, leaving each competitor down. Badstreet recovers first, but after an Irish whip, he lowers his head too early, allowing Pillman to counter before connecting with a spinning heel kick for another near fall. Badstreet answers moments later with a perfectly timed DDT for 2. The closing stretch features several momentum swings. Pillman escapes another Rude Awakening attempt with a backslide for a near fall. Badstreet then counters into a crucifix position before transitioning into a Samoan drop. Throughout the match, Badstreet repeatedly pauses to point at the crowd after his offense, giving Pillman valuable recovery time instead of pressing the advantage. Badstreet places Pillman on the top turnbuckle and climbs to the second rope looking for a superplex. Pillman fights him off with a series of headbutts, knocking Badstreet back to the mat. With Badstreet stunned, Pillman launches himself from the top rope with a perfectly executed crossbody splash and scores the 3 count. 6 minutes and 52 seconds. With that victory, Pillman advances to the finals of the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship Tournament. So I kind of really liked this match. I thought this was really good. I think I went 3 stars on this. Obviously, Pillman and Armstrong have faced each other. They go on to face each other. I think Armstrong's the one that beats Pillman for the title. I really enjoy this. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I went 3 stars as well. Pillman is an absolute force of nature in this match. The stuff that he does is just so innovative for the time. He's so fast. He does everything is bang, 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 bang. Like there's no breathing room or anything like that. They do some rest holds kind of towards the latter part of the match, but the beginning of it is just all over the place, nonstop action. That suicide dive he does where he kind of barely just grazes Badstreet and goes head first into the guardrail is absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these kind of matches are the ones that make me sad because obviously Pillman is such a good athlete at this point. And I just think he could have been so much more because he eventually becomes great on the mic and has a really good character and all that stuff. But injuries and obviously just the drug use throughout the years just completely derails him and stuff like that. But he could have been one of the all-time greats if just stayed. I mean, he's still awesome, but he could have really been like maybe one of the greatest characters in wrestlers, maybe in wrestling history if he could have just stayed healthy and a little cleaner. But I do enjoy his matches during this time period. And this was definitely one of them. I think these guys have a lot of chemistry. So anytime these guys can get in is always a good time.
That is correct. Thank you. Thank you, Logan. Interesting comments. No, you're right. I think it's funny. I was just, as soon as you started talking about like his issues, like his drug issues and then his injuries and stuff, it started making me think of like other guys that people love, like Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Hennig, And it's like, it's the same thing. It's kind of like between the drug use and then the injuries that kind of stacked up. It's like we lost some of the greats, sometimes some of the greatest. I mean, and then there's somebody like, I think like Kurt Angle, who could have gone down that road.
Yeah.
And yet, thankfully, he didn't. And Kurt's probably like, Kurt might very well be in the top 5 of greatest of all time. I mean, because not only was his body of work in WWE unbelievable, but his body of work at TNA is friggin' unbelievable. So, I mean, you know, talk about like just an overall like diamond. I mean, you know, you can put him up there against any of the other greats, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would have him in their top 5, maybe at least top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh my God,
one of the
what
all-time
a
greats.
transition, Logan. You're talking about the WCW top 10, as you mentioned your top 10, and here we have it. No Gordon Soley, but we have the WCW.
My top 10 a lot better than this one.
And now here's a look at the latest top 10 rankings as compiled by promoters and members of the WCW Board of Directors. In the number 10 spot, the former world television champion from Huntsville, Alabama, Beautiful Bobby. In the number 9 position, the Z-Man. The number 8 man, the Diamond Stud. One notch above the Diamond Stud in the number 7 spot is the One Man Gang. Continuing to move up in the top 10 this week at number 6, the Natural Dustin Rhodes. The world television champion, Stunning Steve Austin, checks in at number 5. At the number 4 spot this week, 7 foot 7 inch El Gigante. The number 3 man from Sweetwater, Barry Windham. The number 2 ranked contender this week in the top 10, the former All-American from Warner Robins, Georgia, Ron Simmons. And the number 1 contender is the current U.S. heavyweight champion, Sting. And the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, the total package, Lex Luger.
God damn.
No offense, WCW.
God damn, pal. But yeah, that's the WCW top 10. We kind of move on now to this encounter as one
encounter.
As one encounter. This encounter here.
As Sean Mooney would say.
Sean Mooney. Why did I forget his name? I only watch Sean Mooney every friggin' week on GFA Live, but yeah.
It might be Ian Mooney, actually. You never know.
Ian Mooney. You watched Ian Mooney. You were a big Ian Mooney fan. But yeah, we have the third contest, the third encounter of the evening is the WCW United States Heavyweight Champion, the man called Sting. Or as Sean Kidd would call him, the man called Stink.
He does this, he does that.
He does. He's cool. What is he? He's cool as a he's strong as a bull and quick as a cat.
As a cat, yeah.
He's quick as a cat. He's cool as a cat. Going up against the flamboyant Johnny B. Bad, who is accompanied to the ring by Teddy Long. Johnny B. Bad making one of his most colorful entrances, dressed in his glittering purple attire with his bright pink line caped, fully embracing his Little Richard-inspired gimmick. He arrives through smoke and pyrotechnics as streamers erupt from the entranceway and smoke comes out from his arms. It was like, imagine him going up against Vader when Vader's with the helmet and the smoke coming, like there's just smoke coming from all the shit that they got. But anyway, armed with his signature confetti gun, he fires streamers into the crowd before shadowboxing and dancing around the ring while Teddy Long looks on. The champion receives an equally enthusiastic welcome. He sure does. Sting enters to a thunderous ovation, complete with a large banner featuring his likeness extending over the WCW set as fireworks explode behind it. He was the only person that had this. I thought it was so weird that they went to that camera shot of just Sting's face coming down over a banner. But anyway, before the matchup begins, WCW shows a replay of Sting's recent attack by Abdullah the Butcher, who emerged from the infamous mystery box. Once inside the ring, Sting sportsmanlike shakes Johnny B. Bad's hand before opening collar and elbow tie-up. The early moments are fast-paced and evenly matched. Sting quickly showcases his power with a back body drop, followed by a body slam. He climbs to the second rope looking for a splash, but Bad raises his knee into Sting's midsection. Sting immediately recovers, slams Bad once again, and this time heads back to the ropes for an elbow drop. Johnny B. Bad rolls clear, causing the champion to crash into the canvas. Bad answers with an impressive sunset flip from the top rope for a near fall. Moments later, Sting counters a scoop slam attempt into a small package for 2 before scoring another near fall with a sunset flip of his own. Recognizing he can't match Sting's pace, Johnny B. Bad deliberately slows the match down. The two exchanged another series of collar and elbow tie-ups before transitioning into a technical wrestling sequence. Sting gains control with an arm wringer, but Bad reverses it into a wristlock armbar that forces the champion down to one knee. Sting powers back to his feet with the crowd behind him, escapes into a side headlock, and eventually regains control with another armbar before dropping Bad with a vertical suplex. Johnny Bad briefly pauses to complain that Sting pulled his hair before the two lock up again. Sting muscles his challenger into the corner and attempts to capitalize with an Irish whip followed by his trademark Stinger splash. As Sting charges in, Teddy Long discreetly helps Johnny B. Bad move out of harm's way, sending the champion crashing chest first into the turnbuckle. With Sting stunned, say that 5 times fast, Johnny B. Bad begins dancing and celebrating. Teddy Long then tries to lure Sting towards another mysterious package positioned on the entrance ramp, hoping to distract the champion. Sting notices the package immediately, remembering what happened to Abdullah the Butcher, and hesitates before re-engaging with his challenger. Back in the ring, the hesitation proves only temporary. Sting catches Johnny B. Bad off guard during another exchange and quickly rolls him into a small package for the 3 count. At 6 minutes and 11 seconds, you have your winner and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, Sting. Now, before I get into what happens to the post-match, I will tell you that I really didn't. I mean, I went 2 stars on this only because I thought Johnny B. Bad looked really good against Sting. I'm not the biggest Sting mark. I'm really not the biggest Sting mark at this time in his career either because he's just really cookie cutter. I think Sting gets a lot better. I think Sting actually hits his stride really when the NWO kind of starts showing up, I feel like. But that I could be wrong. I mean, there are some flashes of brilliance in like 89 and 88, 89 and 90, but I'm not a huge Sting fan in this like post-Flair, pre-Hogan era, but that's me. I don't know. What do you think?
I just don't think he's at the point in his career where he can like guide somebody to a good match. Like Johnny B. Bad needed to be guided to probably have a competent match here. They did a lot of good stuff early. They had a lot of energy. They did some innovative kind of stuff. It was kind of like the last match, real speedy, real, energetic and stuff like that. But they kind of got lost in the weeds a little bit. It got really clunky. It felt disjointed kind of throughout. Like he does the small package to end it, and it just seems completely out of nowhere. It's a terrible finish. And he even does that earlier in the match too, and it seems like it's kind of not something they talked about or that they weren't on the same page. So, like I said, they started out pretty solid, but it felt very clunky after a certain point, and it didn't seem like they were really on the same page. And they're really just one of these guys really needed to lead the other one, and I just don't think that they were at that point in their career yet. Obviously, Sting. I think would get there, and if he's in there with somebody of equal talent and maybe a little bit more experience, or maybe just a little bit more talent. I mean, and Johnny B. Bad's fairly new at this point, I'm pretty sure. So, but yeah, I just thought it seemed pretty clunky. For a good point of the match. So I would probably still go 2 stars, but I was definitely expecting a little bit more out of this one.
I will say that I agree with you 100%. I think that Johnny B. Bad actually, like, he shoots up in like 92 where he gets really good. And I think like 92 through when he leaves, which is just like 93. He leaves in 93. Or no, he doesn't leave in 93. He leaves in 96. Like, so I think from 92 to 96.
I think he technically leaves in 95, but yeah, he shows.
Does he leave in 95? Yeah.
WrestleMania 12.
Yeah. So that's right. Yes. So he leaves in 95. But like, I think his 92 to 95, he's really good. I feel like he kind of really does get better. Obviously, I love his 92. I love when he's like the television champion, and then when he starts just once he dumps Teddy Long too, like he really becomes good. So but we're just basically waiting for that to happen. Yeah, he's still green as he's not green as goose shit, but he's close to being green as goose shit at this point. So his first pay-per-view appearance is just at Great American Bash. So I mean he's Yeah, so I mean,
he actually lasts till March of '96, so he actually is still there in '96.
Get out! He's really there in '96.
Yeah,
wow.
He's on the March 9th episode of Saturday Night, and that is his last appearance.
Holy shit! That's like damn. I wonder he didn't have any compete clause because he goes because WrestleMania is like the end of March that year. Yeah, so wow.
It's literally 22 days later. He's at WrestleMania 12.
He doesn't wrestle, so I mean,
I guess he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
But he's there still. I mean, they're wild, man. I mean,
Mark Morrow.
Morrow. Yeah, but
fucking petting zoo. Loser.
Petting zoo? I've never heard him called petting zoo before.
Oh, Hayden used to call him petting zoo all the time.
I never heard him called petting zoo. I've always heard petty poop. Petty poop was like a big OVP, our vantage point. They called him petty poop all the time. But petting zoo is great.
Heenan used to call him petting zoo.
Oh my god, I've never heard that. I fucking love that. That's amazing.
Or it was either Heenan or Lawler. It might have been Lawler. I'm not sure.
It could have been either or, but either way, it's still a great nickname, petting zoo. Nice, thank you, Logan. That's my slam of the week. Slam of the week brought to you by Stridex. Logan Crosland calling Todd Pettingill petty zoo. So the post match of this
brought to you by Karate Fighters.
Karate Fighters, yes. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. So the celebration of the match is cut short almost immediately as Cactus Jack storms into the ring from behind and blindside Sting, knocking the United States champion to the arena floor. Never one to do things conventionally. Cactus Jack climbs up onto the second rope above the broadcast position and jumps over the broadcast table and delivers the elbow drop on a Sting on the arena floor. The one thing Cactus Jack was missing at this point was he didn't pull up the ring mat first, which he had been known to do. But I thought that was great. He leaps over like Jim Ross and Tony Giovanni, which I thought was great. Jack drags Sting back into the ring, shoves Bill Alfonso aside. Fonzie was the referee in this case, and plants the champion with his devastating double arm DDT. As officials and fans look towards the mysterious package on the entranceway, the assault continues until Bobby Eaton, Big Josh, and Dustin Rhodes rush towards the ring to make the save. Jack retreats before they can get his hands on him, leaving Sting laid out in the center of the ring after another brutal attack. The post-match assault makes it clear that Cactus Jack has no intention of letting Sting enjoy his successful title defense for very long. So I loved it. I love that Jack was... I love that it was... They come back afterwards, after the break, and Jim Ross and Tony Giovanni revisit what happened. And they basically show us, because you don't see Jack come from the box.
Yeah.
But then when they do the replay, they show that it was Cactus Jack that emerged from the box and came up to beat Sting. And this also, again, they go back talking about how Abdullah the Butcher had previously emerged from the same box to attack Sting, raising even more questions. Jim Ross wonders aloud who could possibly be orchestrating these repeated ambushes and asks the obvious question, who wants Sting driven out of WCW so badly? Mystery surrounding the attack continue to go. So I don't know. What'd you think of Sting and getting his shit kicked out of him by Cactus Jack?
Yeah, I won't say this
just yet.
Made up. I won't say this made up for how kind of crappy the match was, but this was a really awesome attack from Jack. Obviously, it would have been cooler to kind of see him emerge from the box originally, but camera crews in WCW are kind of WCW. So, but I thought the attack was awesome. He really beats the crap out of him, and I thought it was just really well done. So,
I was gonna say WCW didn't have Kevin Dunn, but didn't they have Kevin Dunn at this point?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't know. No, I think I'm confused. I think I'm mixing him up with Johnny Ace, because I know when Vince bought WCW, Johnny Ace came over from them. I thought Kevin Dunn did, but I think I'm wrong. I think Kevin Dunn had already been at WWF. So yeah,
I think Kevin Dunn might be a WCW or a WWE only guy.
Yeah, I think he's a WWE only guy. Yeah. We get our next matchup now is the semifinal, another semifinal match for the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship Tournament. We have Richard Morton representing the York Foundation versus the man that you said, how dare you make me watch a Mike Graham match? in 2026.
I watched enough of his ass during the Dangerous Alliance pod, and I had to come back to fucking watch him again.
Again, one of my favorite things about Richard Morton is that he does not change his gear. He's still wearing the Ricky Morton Rock and Roll Express gear, even though he's supposed to be the man of the future, Richard Morton with Alexander York. Also, looking at the computer that she has, that she does not have a fucking laptop. It's like a keyboard. She's literally bringing like either like that or it was like a fucking speak and spell. It was the most cheesy thing ever, and I'm like, it would work in today's day because she would obviously have like either a laptop or an iPad or something like that. It didn't work in 1991, but whatever. I guess it was just a way to get Dustin Rhodes' wife on television, and anyway, have her be a character. But she was kind of a convincing manager, I guess, for a little while.
The thing she comes out with is like there's people that do like inventory at like Dollar Generals around where I'm at. They have these little things. It's not, it doesn't have like a screen, but it's like a calculator to like calculate how much inventory they have of certain things, and that's exactly what it looks like.
That's awesome. It's exactly what it is. I love it. But this is our second semifinal match to crown the inaugural champion. Before the opening lockup, Morton once again consults Alexandra York's computerized scouting system, relying on the statistical analysis to formulate the perfect strategy against one Mike Graham. The match begins with a collar and elbow tie-up that quickly turns into a side headlock by Graham. This match is nothing but collar and elbow tie-ups, I feel like, as well, and headlocks. But an Irishman follows, and Graham floors Morton with a shoulder tackle. Morton wisely retreats to the ropes to halt Graham's momentum before the two lock up again. Graham repeatedly controls the pace with side headlocks, forcing Morton to search for answers. Morton briefly escapes with a head scissor, but both men quickly return to their feet. Another exchange ends with Graham once again applying a headlock before Morton sends him to the ropes. During the next sequence, Morton cleverly drops flat to the mat as Graham leaps over him. On Graham's second pass, however, Morton grabs both legs and surprisingly turns the exchange into a Boston Crab. Graham quickly rolls through into a pinning combination for two. Morton counters with his own cradle, and two trade several rapid near falls before returning to a stalemate. Frustrated, Graham shoves Morton to the mat, sending Morton to the floor to regroup with Alexander York. Once again, he checks the computerized readout before re-entering the ring. Or I guess he's checking to see how many bottles of Tide they have on aisle 4, maybe. The technical exchange continues as Morton applies his own headlock, only for Graham to counter with a head scissors. Morton briefly secures a pin attempt before Graham bridges out and nearly steals the victory with a backslide. Back on their feet, Graham backs Morton into a corner with a European uppercut before sending him across the ring. Morton catches the charging Graham with a raised knee to the face and follows with a near fall. Morton attempts to capitalize by climbing to the second rope, but Graham cuts him off with an impressive back suplex that transitions into a German suplex bridge for another close 2 count. Morton begins abandoning the scientific approach in favor of more aggressive tactics. He repeatedly punches Graham, drags his face against the top rope, throws him into turnbuckles, and chokes him across the middle rope to slow the veteran down. Graham fights back by locking in the figure 4 leg lock, but Morton immediately reaches the rope to force a break. The momentum shifts back towards Graham as he scores with a fireman's carry takedown before targeting Morton's arm with an armbar and a wrist lock. Morton escapes by reversing the hold, although he repeatedly uses Graham's hair for extra leverage whenever the referee is not looking. Another exchange sees Morton knock Graham down with a shoulder tackle before Graham counters with a single leg takedown and grapevine, putting tremendous pressure on Morton's leg. Back on his feet, Morton lands a kick to the midsection, follows with a series of punches and slaps, and whip Graham into the corner. An inverted atomic drop and a body slam give Morton another opening, but he misses a big elbow drop. Graham capitalizes with a body slam of his own and appears to have momentum on his side. As the finish approaches, Alexander York climbs onto the ring apron and successfully distracts referee Nick Patrick. While the official's attention is diverted, Graham attempts another pin combination. Morton shoves Graham away, sending him face first in the turnbuckle as Nick Patrick turns around back just in time to see Morton cover his dazed opponent for the 3 count. At 7 minutes and 40 seconds, Richard Morton wins and advances to the finals of the light heavyweight tournament, where he will meet Brian Pillman at Halloween Havoc. You're going to hate me on this. I mean, because it's Mike Graham. I went 2 stars. I didn't think it was a bad match.
Gross.
What'd you go on it? 1?
-5. I'm just kidding. No, I'd probably give it like 1. It was fine. My first note is, how fucking dare you make me watch a Mike Graham match? I will say that for sure.
Wow.
But the the two light heavyweight tournament matches could not have been any more different.
Oh my God, two completely. Yeah,
I mean, just completely different styles holistically. I just feel like Mike Graham dumbed Richard Morton down. I feel like Morton could have had, I mean, obviously, I think he probably has a little bit more exciting match with Pillman at the pay-per-view, but I feel like he maybe dumbed down fucking Morton's style a little bit here, but I just thought it was a technical kind of slog that I wasn't really looking for at this point in the card, especially considering how good the other light heavyweight tournament match was. It just, and the finish is absolute doo-doo asshole shit. feces, just awful doo-doo crap.
Doo-doo crap, feces bullshit.
Yeah, just horrendous. Wow. Like, Mike Graham doesn't really react immediately to being pushed off, and then he's like, oh shit, and then like slings himself into the covered turnbuckle. I'll say
that is true. Yes, that is true.
It's just,
that is true.
Yeah, it is poor at best. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a slog to get through, but it was technically worked well, I guess. But I can't go higher than one. It just bored me to tears.
That's okay. So just so you were aware, the tournament was set up this way. Badstreet defeated Joey Maggs on Worldwide in the quarterfinals match. Terrence Taylor.
Country.
Yep. Terrence Taylor loses to Mike Graham on main event, and Richard Morton defeated Johnny Rich. So, and Pillman must have had a bye for some reason.
Yeah, that they say he had a bye, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, I don't know why, but yeah, that's what we had. 7 wrestlers. It must have been that, like, because of the, I don't know, whatever they consider the weight limit, I guess. But because of the weight limit, maybe they didn't have an 8th person to give Pillman a match.
I think they came up with some bullshit reason, but yeah, it may have been something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go back and probably look and see if, like, you'd probably have to go back and watch, like, either main event or Worldwide to figure out why. But yeah, so
maybe I'm thinking of something else. I feel like they gave an explanation, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, I mean, I'm looking through the history of it, and they don't really explain. It just says 7 wrestlers were used for the tournament.
He was in the WCW top 10, and nobody else was. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you look at this list, Richard Morton, Johnny Rich, Terrence Taylor, Mike Graham, Badstreet, and Joey Maggs, would any of them be in the top 10? Maybe Terrence Taylor, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. Yeah, that is weird. Anyway, so
they just considered him the 1 seed, and they just gave him.
Yeah, your final set. Yeah, it's like a weird how the NFL does it now. Like the 1 seed gets the bye and not the 2 seed.
Yeah.
So your final set for Halloween Havoc: Brian Pillman versus Richard Morton for the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. And I guess we all know how that works, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We come to. I don't know how you want to talk about this. We come to this weird segment now, where Bill Kazmaier, who is going to be wrestling later on this evening for the vacant tag team championship, is in the ring to do I guess it's a test of strength or something like that. Am I right in saying this?
He's bending a back kid.
Yeah, he's bending a bar kid, a fucking bar kid. So he goes in, he bends this bar, but we also have like weightlifting equipment, and this comes into play. We have some weightlifting equipment in the ring, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get, and he bends the bar, he bends the steel bar, which it looks like a rebar. So he bends the rebar around his, first off the top of his head, he starts to bend it. Then he works it around the back of his neck, and he bends it successfully. And then out of nowhere, we have Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko, the enforcers, who hit him with one of the steel weights. Jim Ross calls it a steel plate. It's a plate in the sense that it's like you add another plate to the bar, bro. But they hit him with this, take him out,
right
and
in
then
the ribs.
Yeah, and then Rick Steiner runs in, and then Zbyszko and Anderson flee. Obviously, getting to him before the match later on this evening, which is the finals of the tag team title tournament, where Rick Steiner and Bill Kazmaier are going to be wrestling Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko, the Enforcers. Now, this is the tag team titles that were vacated by the Steiner brothers because Scott gets hurt. So Rick is trying to regain his tag team titles with the world's strongest man before Mark Henry, Bill Kazmaier. So, yeah, what'd you think of that, Logan?
He has multiple world records, pal. They wanted us to very much know that Bill Kazmaier already had world records and was in the Guinness Book of World Records. Jim Ross told us that multiple times. But yeah, he tries to bend this like it's a certain thickness kind of steel bar.
Oh yeah, it's a rebar. It's like one that you would put inside of a thing. Yeah.
But yeah, it was so many inches thick or whatever that like that was the world record that he could bend it, and nobody else could really do that. But yeah, Arn and Larry sneak up from behind with the weight plate and kind of bash him in the ribs. And Rick, as per usual, is very, very, very late with the save. That seems to be a thing that he does because he does that quite often to poor Tank Abbott on Russo.
Oh, yeah.
So he's very bad at making saves for his tag team partners.
Well, just so you're aware, in the World's Strongest Man competition, Kazmaier in 1979 came in third. He came in first in 80, 81, and 82. He came in second in 1988, and then he came in fourth in 1989. He has also won World Muscle Power Championships, coming in first in 1988, third in 1985, fourth, and sixth in the subsequent years. Le Défi Mach 10 International, which is a Mach 10, which is a Canadian international weightlifting contest. He comes in first in 87. Pure Strength, which is a vintage strongman championship held in Scotland and England. He came in first in 1988 with Stuart Thompson, so maybe it's like a tag thing or something. And then also in first in 1990 with O.D. Wilson, Oders Del Wilson Jr. This is interesting. He came in first. Wow, shit. He ran the fucking gamut in the Scottish Power Challenge first in 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, and 89. And Strongbow Strongman in 1980 and 81. Jesus, this guy did win a lot of fucking championships. Holy shit. Powerlifting, he's like first in powerlifting in 1970. I mean, it was all like in the late 70s, early 80s, but goddamn, pal.
Very interesting.
And then he became, it says, inspired by Jim Thorpe, Kazmaier sought to transfer his talents to other sports, trying out for the NFL's Green Bay Packers at 81. He also trained with Vern and Brad Rangans and entered professional wrestling in 1986 with a match in Calgary for the WWF. And then he also wrestled in Stampede, Tiger, Continental, and Fighting Network rings in Japan. And then, yes, his biggest exposure came when he debuted in WCW in the summer of 1991. It says he received several shots at Lex Luger's championship but failed to win the title. That's amazing.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Fucking
and then he retired from wrestling in 1992. God bless Bill Kazmaier, former powerlifting champion. But our next matchup, I guess, is a non-title bout because I believe the Freebirds are the U.S. Tag Team Champions, but they do not come down with the championship titles because it is a non-title match. It is mentioned, however, they signed this contest or this contract to face the Patriots, your favorite tag team, I've heard, of Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion.
No, I think they're Matt Souza's personal favorite tag team of all time, actually.
I definitely noted that the Patriots.
This is the most 7 months of danger match you possibly could have picked.
I said the MVPs of the 7 months of danger podcast.
The most 7 months of danger match you possibly could have put together is this.
When you were watching this, were you getting like PTSD?
Oh, I had flashbacks and I broke out into sweats and stuff like that. I was
you had the meat sweats. So we got Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin taking on Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion, kid.
Firebreaker Chip. God bless. What a fucking loser.
I have my notes. It says the Patriots have become familiar names thanks to their frequent encounters with the Dangerous Alliance. They're not yet, but they will be soon. Todd Champion. I think it's Todd Champion. Is he the one that doesn't wear the fatigues? Or is that Firebreaker Chip?
Firebreaker Chip is the fireman character.
Is he the taller one? The taller?
No, I think Champion's the taller one.
Okay, so then Firebreaker Chip starts the match against Michael Hayes. Before locking up, Hayes places the crowd with his trademark strut before adding a moonwalk, drawing plenty of boos from the audience. He also is fat here. Michael Hayes is he's still fat. He's been fat for a while, but man, he's getting what I like to call Jimmy Garvin ass. Not Jimmy Garvin ass, Jimmy Valiant ass.
Yeah, he's definitely not in his prime at this point. It's
more like he's eating a lot of prime, as in prime rib. The opening exchange is quick and athletic. Following a collar and elbow tie up and an Irish whip, Hayes drops down, leapfrogs over Firebreaker Chip, and eventually sends him to the turnbuckle, tumbling to the floor. Chip quickly returns to the ring and immediately challenges the momentum with a flurry of lefts and rights before planting Hayes with a big power slam. Jimmy Garvin attempts to get involved from the top rope. Chip catches him and tosses him aside before following up with a pair of drop kicks. Chip then tags in Todd Champion with an enthusiastic high five. Garvin enters legally for the Freebirds and locks up with Champion. After Garvin backs him into the corner, Champion reverses the momentum with an Irish whip, a hip toss, and a picture-perfect drop kick. Champion falls with a sleeper hold on Garvin. When Hayes tries to interfere, he traps Hayes in a sleeper as well, before returning focus on Garvin. Champion continues controlling the pace with an arm wringer before Garvin sends him into the ropes. Champion counters with a sunset flip for the 2 count, following an arm drag and an arm bar, and nearly steals another fall with a quick cradle. As Champion kicks Garvin away after another near fall, Michael Hayes sneaks in from the apron and lands a cheap shot to the back of his head. The distraction allows the Freebirds to take over, stomping away on Champion while the referee's attention is elsewhere. Champion eventually creates some separation by flooring Garvin and reaches for his corner as Garvin tags Hayes. Champion makes a hot tag to Firebreaker Chip, who explodes into the ring. Again, I think I'm mixing them up. I apologize. So the whole time I was saying Champion was Firebreaker Chip. Now it's Todd Champion. Champion immediately clears house with a back body drop on Hayes, body slams both Freebirds, and falls with a double noggin knocker that leaves both opponents staggering. After another Irish whip, Champion connects with a flying back elbow on Hayes, but Garvin breaks up the pin before attacking Firebreaker Chip. The match begins to break down into complete chaos. The Freebirds attempt a double Irish whip, but Champion ducks underneath and levels both men with a double clothesline. Moments later, the Patriots answers with a tag team offense of their own, including a flying double clothesline from the top rope that wipes out both Freebirds. With all 4 men in the ring now, the referee struggles to regain control. The Patriots continue their momentum with a double back elbow on Michael Hayes, followed by a double back body drop and a double clothesline on Jimmy Garvin. As the official focuses on getting Firebreaker Chip back to his corner, Todd Champion appears poised to score the victory over Jimmy Garvin. However, Michael Hayes slips into the ring unnoticed and drops a big elbow on Champion. The illegal blow allows Garvin to reverse the situation, rolling onto a cover as the referee turns back around for the 3 count at 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Like you said, this is a total 7 months of danger match. This is as cookie cutter as you're going to get for a television matchup. I mean, this did not deserve to be on a Clash of Champions. This is more like a Saturday night match. I went 1.5 stars. I'm sure you went worse. We didn't even get a Michael Hayes DDT.
Yeah. I mean,
and that kind of pissed me off.
It's not good. I'll go 1. It was fine. I mean, it's not.
I mean, 1.5 is pretty bad, Logan.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was to say,
You can say one. You don't have to say anything else to defend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's fine in the grand scheme of things, but like at the same time, it's just these guys. I don't want to care, nor do I think there's a reason to care about any of these guys.
Yeah.
So it's just like, especially Champion and Firebreaker Chip, they're so bad. They are so very bad. And the Freebirds kind of try to do their best, but even like we said, they're not in their prime years at this point either. So, yeah.
Oh,
I'll say perfectly fine, but still not good whatsoever.
So this is interesting. So this match airs. So the Patriots had already defeated the Freebirds for the U.S. tag titles. Okay. But that had not aired yet when this aired. So I guess that's why the Freebirds didn't come down with the titles.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a point that they mentioned that they signed a contract to face them a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why the Patriots would end up getting a title shot after they lost this match, but okay, that's when, and they lose and they win the tag titles. They win the U.S. tag titles from them. And it ends up airing on September 7th, which is 2 days later on television. So,
wow.
Yeah. So in 2 days, the Patriots will have won the U.S. Tag Team Championship from the Freebirds. That's weird.
So they did this twice in the span of 2 days. That's. I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm so sorry, 1991 fans.
I'm assuming this is live, right? Like they did They did all the clashes live. So yeah. And then it's really funny because they lose the titles to the Young Pistols. It's on November 5th, and then they lose it on. This is crazy. November 5th. Well, actually, they win the titles on August 12th. It doesn't air till September 7th. Then they lose the titles to the Young Pistols on November 5th. It doesn't air until December 15th. My God. They seriously did record like a month of fucking television for like.
Oh, I mean, they have multiple negative day.
Yeah.
Tag team.
The negative day title reigns is like some of my favorite. That's like some of my favorite stuff. Yeah.
It's absolutely absurd.
Especially with the US tag titles. I feel like those are like the jobber titles, I feel like all the time, even though they're not supposed to be, but they are. At least
that is absurd.
That is absurd. Nice little callback there. Alrighty. So up next we have, this is great. This is the Sting and Cactus Jack brawl. But I guess it's not really a brawl. You don't know that at first. So we have Paulie Dangerously is in the ring, and he's going to be interviewing Cactus Jack. Paul tries to get to the bottom of the mystery, asking Cactus Jack who in WCW has been paying or convincing him to repeatedly attack Sting. Jack says he does not want to reveal his benefactor, but he wants to give praise to his friend and longtime associate, Abdullah the Butcher. The mystery box has made its way back onto the ring entrance, and Jack believes that Abdullah the Butcher is inside, so he goes and hugs the box. He hugs the box. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sting explodes out of the box and starts to beat up Cactus Jack. Great moments, though, with this is that we have an awesome moment where Sting, punches Cactus Jack. He Irish whips him from the ramp into the ring ropes, and then gives him a huge back body drop onto the ramp, which that's coming to play. I've seen that with the Falls Count Anywhere match. I've seen Jack do that a lot, so I love that. It's like one of my best spots. Then there's this gross spot where Sting friggin' basically does a hip toss onto the concrete floor below, and then drags Cactus Jack back up onto the ramp and does a standing dropkick that once again sends Cactus Jack like just falling down the stairs onto the concrete. And then, desperate to escape, Cactus Jack starts to run away. He grabs a trash barrel and swings it on the Sting. It's like a Rubbermaid trash barrel. Then he dumps the fucking trash barrel on the Sting. And then the two of them start fighting, and as all the officials start to come out and start to like pull them apart, and the camera fights, they fight back in the ring as the camera falls back before they go to a commercial break. So, what did you think of this fight, Logan? I thought it was better than the friggin' first match with Sting, and then the first fight, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely another solid brawl. Yeah, they didn't do. I mean, they do some segments, I guess. We'll talk about another one in a little bit, but
yeah,
I feel like when they did the segments, they were effective. So they may not be delivering holistically in ring tonight, but I feel like these segments have been coming across.
There's not a ton of nonsense. The segments are very good. Yeah.
Welcome back to TBS. My name is Paul E. Dangerously, and at this time, being the premier journalist in World Championship Wrestling, I want to speak to a man that made a most auspicious introduction tonight to the Stinger. And you know, first it was Abdullah the Butcher, and now Cactus Jack. You come out of the box. My question to you, who paid you the money? Who masterminded this whole plan against Sting?
Well, Paulie, I think it would be real nice if at this time everyone in this arena and around the world put your hands together in a round of applause for Sting, because he had a great career. But it's all over now. It's all over now. And you are looking at the man that did it to him. And yes, that thought makes me smile. Yes, it makes me smile. But Stinger, don't be angry. It was nothing personal, strictly business. And I think I see one of my business partners now. But it ain't necessary because Cactus Jack got the job done by himself.
What is Abdullah doing here, Cactus Jack?
I don't know.
You already took care of it.
Strictly a backup measure. Abdullah is my business partner, my friend, and I think he deserves a Cactus Jack hug.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Go give Abdullah a Cactus Jack hug. This is wonderful. Live on national TV.
Oh, no! It's not Abdullah. It is the Stinger. The Stinger attacking Cactus Jack. Send it to the rope. Oh, my! He backdropped it right on that rampway. What's he going to do now? Right off. Oh, my God! Right off to the concrete. And Cactus Jack is not staying down. Anybody else would have had your back broken right there. Sting's got Cactus by the hair. Standing drop kick. Again, Cactus falling on the rampway. Oh, what a hell of a confrontation these two will have. Can you believe Cactus Jack is able to walk? Uh-oh, look at this. He's got a trash can. Sting better stay away from him. He's a crazy man. He's a crazy man. He's pouring garbage all over him. They're fighting all over the place. Watch it. Security. The referee's trying to Oh, my. We got to get this back. It's all restored. Man, we're going to be back. Simmons and the Scott is next.
All right, we come back from commercial break, and this is kind of cool. I like this a little bit. It's this it's like this Ron Simmons tribute. So, you know, Ron Simmons is a full baby face now. We get this little comment here from Bobby Bowden.
Bowden.
Do you know Bobby Bowden?
Mm-hmm.
And would you want to give a little bit of insight as to who he is?
Yeah, I mean, he was at Florida State for fucking ever. He was their football coach for a long time. I think he won at least one national championship, if I remember correctly. But he was there for, I mean, I'm going to look up the exact years here in a second, but he's like one of the all-time winningest football coaches of all time. He's not number one, but he's up in the top 2 or 3, I believe. So, but yeah, he was at Florida State from 1976 to 2009. So,
wow, holy shit,
he has 377 total wins.
Wow.
So I think he I don't know for sure, but I think he may just be behind Joe Paterno I think Joe Paterno has the most wins all time of any coach. But yeah, he coached a lot of great teams at Florida State. So he actually won two national championships, it looks like. So, but I mean, back in that day, it was real kind of wonky about what a national championship was because it was voted on by polls and it wasn't really a game necessarily.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of weird up until the late 90s. They didn't like have a system, so it was just like who was voted number one.
Really?
At the end of the year. So it was kind of weird. But 99, he won the national championship. So that he definitely at least has the one.
Like a legitimate national championship?
Yeah, he legitimately won a game. So
well, we have this ceremony. They play us this video of Ron Simmons, I guess having his jersey retired and his number retired, which I thought was kind of nice. As I said, we have, Ron Simmons is like a full good guy at this point. So, there's a lot to be said about that. So they go ahead and they show this little thing. And then we get a lovely little pep talk here from, how do you say his name? Bobby Bowden?
Bowden, yeah.
Bobby Bowden. So we get a little pep talk here because Ron Simmons, as I may have said, if I didn't say it, I'll say it again. He's going after the World Heavyweight Championship from Lex Luger. We're going to have the contract signing later on for Halloween Havoc. So, yep.
Ron, I can't believe that 12 years have passed since you took Florida State to our first undefeated season down here and made champions out of us. And now it doesn't surprise me that you're fixing to clash for the world championship there in wrestling. That doesn't surprise me knowing you. And I just want you to know that I wish you the best. And I know this, every Seminole at this moment is praying and pulling for Ron Simmons. And it doesn't surprise me you're there because I know when you came to Florida State, I think you were probably the most mature football player I've ever had come to Florida State. Well, I've ever coached, really. And you were always mentally prepared. You were always mentally tough. And if I know you, you know exactly what it's going to take to win this contest. And if I know you, you've done everything you possibly could do to prepare for it. So just remember the things I used to tell you when you're here. Don't worry about winning it. You just go out and work and fight and scrap the hardest you can do and do the very best you can do, and you don't know any other way. And then we just let the chips fall where they are. But I want you to know this: when y'all get locked up and it's pretty tight, and you think he might be about to turn you, just don't forget your old coach is sitting right there looking and whispering a prayer.
The matchup we have next is Ron Simmons is going to be coming out here, and he's going to be facing up against the Diamond Stud, as we know. Oh, Diamond Stud and we have Diamond Stud and Oz tonight on the show. So Oz, what are your thoughts on the Diamond Stud?
I mean, kind of a cheap act at this point, but he seems like a solid guy backstage from what I've seen. So,
And Diamond Stud, you're gonna tell.
I can only do the hey yo as
that's okay.
All I can't go further than that.
I mean, they're not too far off, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, it just depends on. I feel like Kevin Nash is a little bit more swagger than Scott Hall.
Yeah, he has a little bit more smoothness to him.
Yeah, Scott Hall, but it's the same voice. Like, hey yo, later on, I'm gonna tell my buddy
Say
Sean.
Hello to the bad guy.
I'm gonna tell my buddy Sean to call up this guy Kevin that I know and say, Kev, why don't you come up to New York, kid? Anyway, Ron Simmons.
Hey, Sting, why don't you be the Crow?
That's one of my favorites.
That is one of. You still gonna be painting your face like an asshole? He didn't say that, but like he's like, I see Sting. I see you get rid of the blonde hair. You're gonna still be putting on colored makeup on your face? Ew. You ever see this movie, The Crow? This guy in it, Brendan Lee. He's pretty good. He's all black and shit. Why don't you dress like that guy? Hey, that sounds like a pretty good. You know, and if that's really true, that Scott Hall was the guy that told Sting to change his whole gimmick. That's pretty awesome because Sting friggin' was the Crow longer than he was a Surfer Sting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it's pretty nuts, yeah.
I told Vince, I said, why don't you get the F out of the WWF and change it to like WWE? And then you don't have to worry about getting sued by the friggin' panda people. Vince said, that sounds like a good idea. I don't know. Anyway.
Goddamn
Bell. Following the tribute to Ron Simmons and the recognition of his jersey retirement at Florida State University, Simmons heads to the ring looking to carry that momentum into competition. Waiting for him is the Diamond Stud, Scott Hall, before becoming Razor Ramon. He's not accompanied by Dallas Page, I don't believe. Correct? I don't think he's with Page, right?
Yeah, I don't think he comes out with
I don't think
or he may like appear on the entrance way with him, but he doesn't come down to the ring.
He's not down the ring, yeah. The Diamond Stud wastes no time in getting the advantage, attacking Simmons before he can even settle into the ring. He pulls Simmons off the turnbuckle and immediately begins unloading with punches and kicks, attempting to keep the powerhouse on the defensive from the opening bell. Simmons quickly fires back with a heavy right hands of his own, but the Diamond Stud regains control with a rake to the eyes. After an Irish whip is reversed, Simmons drops down to allow Stud to run over him. Simmons attempts a leapfrog, but on the return, the Diamond Stud catches him in midair and drives him with a choke slam, earning a 1 count. Choke slam looked cool, at least. Heaving the pressure on, the Diamond Stud backs Simmons into the corner with more punches and kicks before sending him across the ring. Simmons reverses the whip and charges, but Stud gets both feet up into Simmons' face. Climbing to the second rope, Diamond Stud falls with a beautifully executed bulldog. Rather than immediately hooking the leg, however, Diamond Stud pauses to pose over Simmons, flexing for the crowd. The arrogance proves costly as Simmons catches him in a kind of a, I don't know what you call that, like a cradle for a near fall before both men scramble back to their feet. Stud again corners Simmons with strikes and another Irish whip. Simmons reverses once more and charges, but this time he sees the incoming boots sliding underneath the bottom rope. Simmons yanks the Diamond Stud into the corner, crashing him into the Vienna Boys Choir, as I like to call it, maneuver there. With the momentum firmly shifted, Simmons explodes on offense. He delivers an inverted atomic drop, following up with a second, more natural atomic drop, and levels the Diamond Stud with a thunderous clothesline. Stud attempts one last comeback by poking Simmons in the eye before another Irish whip, but Simmons once again counters, scoops him up, and plants him with his signature spine buster, which looked fucking awesome. With the crowd roaring behind him, Simmons drops into his trademark three-point stance. As the Diamond Stud struggles to get back to his feet, Simmons charges across the ring and blasts him with a running shoulder tackle for the 3 count at 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Ron Simmons is your victor. It's funny seeing him do the 3-point stance right after he does the spine buster because I love Simmons' spine buster, but I can understand that they were really pushing this whole he's a Seminole, all that kind of stuff, so I can understand why they made him go to the 3-point stance. But it was a quick match. It was nothing more than I guess it was just a squash to get Simmons prepped for his upcoming match with Lex Luger, so I don't think it needed to be that long. But you're going to be surprised on this. I thought it was awesome. I gave it 2.5 stars.
I thought it was incredible too as well.
All right, good.
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it wasn't a complete squash by any means. In fact, Simmons kind of like just pops up at the end. Yeah. It's the last few moves, really. So they let Stud kind of control, and I've always been a huge fan of Scott Hall. I think he's probably underrated in the grand scheme of wrestling. But he jumps him straight at the bell. I love Hall or Stud, whatever you want to call him. I love his punches. His punches are always some of my favorites. So I definitely
his bulldog looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bulldog looked great. I thought the choke slam looked great. I mean, here's the thing. I love the Diamond Stud. I was talking about this in the last clash. I thought he had the makings of a varsity athlete. He had the makings of everything that like Razor Ramon would end up having once Ramon got cooking in the WWF. Like, because obviously the first couple of months he's there, he's kind of
getting his footing.
Yeah, but like really, like once he wrestles Backlund at Mania, he's fucking awesome, you know, and he's awesome all the way up until he leaves. So it's like, I think Scott Hall definitely knew what he was doing. He was definitely a professional. But yeah, no, I mean this, and he makes Simmons look good, which I liked. So
yeah.
And again, oh god,
no, go, you're good. Go.
No, I was gonna say for like a 2-minute and 25-second match, it doesn't need to be crazy. It can be exactly what it is. You can tell a match perfectly in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And
yeah, it's not crazy long or anything like that. I love Simmons' Spinebuster as well. I thought it really snapped on this one. So. But yeah, not a long match, but obviously solid work by Stud and a really good comeback from Simmons. So definitely a big fan of this one, despite it not being very long.
Paul Heyman comes into the ring. He gets a quick follow-up interview with Simmons, who, as soon as Simmons starts to talk, we see Harley Race and Mr. Hughes come down, and Simmons doesn't even let them talk. He basically just kind of calls out the fact that Luger's a big pussy. And that he's going to go, he's like, I'm going to go find him. If he's not going to sign this contract, I'm going to go find him. And then
I'm going to go find this punk ass motherfucker right now.
Exactly.
Hey.
He just gets on a lead. Harley Race is like, you hear Harley Race grumble something that like the mic picks up, but like Paulie doesn't even interview them. Like immediately that's it. So I loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that, I think I would have much rather watch that segment than the next matchup that comes out. Because holy shit. Okay. As I had said at the beginning, Clash of the Champions, the last couple ones had been used for like debuts. We get one debut. There's no video about this person. There's really nothing except his entrance. But before that, the Red Rooster comes down. Terrence Taylor comes down with Alexander York. And he's going to be facing off against the debuting Van Hammer. Now, I know Van Hammer is one of your favorites. Gross. In fact, I don't even think that you shed a tear when he died this past April, did you?
I did not. In fact, I did not do that.
It would have been great if you went, I didn't even know he died.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of low-key didn't know he died.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I didn't want to be a dick, but I didn't even realize he passed.
Van Hammer, his entrance was longer than the match, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
He had this weird entrance where he comes down and like has the pyrotechnics where he's pointing his guitar and then the pyrotechnics are going off. So I guess that's a thing. Anyway, Taylor attempts to gain the advantage and immediately attacking Van Hammer from behind with punches as he enters the ring. The strategy backfires almost instantly, however, as Van Hammer absorbs the shots without even appearing bothered. Hammer takes control with sheer power, repeatedly body slamming Taylor before falling with a pair of clotheslines. He continues the assault by catching Taylor with a front suplex, leaving the man known as the computerized man of the 90s completely overwhelmed. I said that in the chat GPT. I said the computerized man of the 1990s. Van Hammer climbs to the top rope and comes crashing down with a diving knee drop directly onto Taylor's lower back, turns him over and hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. 1 minute and 7 seconds. Van Hammer is your winner. I would have rather see the continuation. I would have rathered watch Ron Simmons go into the back, take a shit, have Mr. Hughes and Harley Race walk into the bathroom and go, "Good God, what is that?" And then have Simmons come out and go, "Damn!" Then watch this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Van Hammer sucks. Terry Taylor is palatable in some situations, but I'm sure he
no.
Starcade 91 MVP.
Oh, fuck you. I can't. You know what? I'm going to watch Starcade 91. I'm going to review it, and I'm going to fucking shit all over this guy.
The show sucks. So he's one of the bright spots. But yeah, this is a complete squash. The quote-unquote knee drop to finish the match is absolutely horrendous. Doesn't even barely connect. It looked awful. absolutely awful. This is the duddiest of duds. This is
doo-doo dog shit.
Yeah, this is the dutiest, doggiest shit of all of the doo-doo dog shit we've talked about so far.
Well, we're almost done, Logan. I promise you. We only got a couple matches left.
Yeah, we get Miley Cyrus's mom with Lex Luger next as well.
So it's funny you bring that up. Yeah, Missy High here in the back with Lex Luger. So
I gotta get home to Miley. She looks just like Miley Cyrus to me for some reason.
She probably, I mean, read her book. Did she have sex with
Billy Ray? Maybe
Billy Ray.
It's always a possibility.
It is. It's always a possibility.
She had sex with everybody else. So,
heyo.
Thanks, Jim and Tony. And I'm here in the locker room with the most gorgeous man in the world, the total package, the world heavyweight champion, Lex Luger. Now, who could that be? What is this?
Hey, where's Lex Luger? I'm tired of looking in his stooge's face. Hey, it is time you and I had a talk.
Wrong again, Ron. I'm done talking to you.
Hello? Hey, Ron, what's going on, man? So that... Hey, wait a minute, Ron. That's not the time, man.
He is so rude. I can't believe that. I am so glad you threw him out. Now,
wow. Interesting comments nonetheless. But yeah, Missy Hyatt's in the back with Lex Luger. We don't really get a lot because Ron Simmons enters into the fray. And we got a Grizzly Smith sighting, which I always thought was kind of nice. Grizzly, I'm like, every time I see
there wasn't
Grizzly
any young
Smith,
girls around for him to mess with, right?
Well, yeah, Missy was too old for him.
Yeah,
So yeah. But yeah, it was good though, because like Simmons comes in, busts through the door, all the baby faces pull him out, and then I loved it that like, that's just the ending. And I mean, again, we still have the contract signing at the end, so but that's not the next matchup. The next matchup is my guy, stunning Steve Austin, the reigning and defending WCW World's Television Champion, with his lovely wife Lady Blossom at his side, going up against the Z-Man Tom Zank. And this is a matchup of a current World's Television Champion versus the former World's Television Champion. How about that? So
how about that?
As I had said earlier, both guys pulling double duty tonight, having already competed earlier in the Georgia Brawl Battle Royal. I forgot that Terrence Taylor was in that, so you had reminded me that. But yeah, as we had laughed about earlier, Taylor's kind of doing double duty, but not really, because he's doing double duty in the fact that last match was doo-doo dog shit. But I put down, I said, interesting enough, despite both being involved in the same match and then having this match later on, I don't remember them really having any interaction during the Battle Royal. So kind of interesting.
I think Zink's the first guy out, so it's like I think he strategically got out early, so he could have some more energy for this.
Yeah, so that kind of makes up the fact that this is kind of like a new, fresh matchup between these two guys. So but Lady Blossom accompanying Austin to the ring, continuing her role as his influential manager. The matchup begins with a series of technical exchanges as Zink quickly gains the first advantage, backing Austin into the corner and forcing a clean break. Austin returns the favor moments later, but Zink reverses once again and forces separation. A third collar elbow tie-up sees Austin gain control with a headlock, but Zink counters by transitioning into a wrist lock behind Austin's back. Austin reverses the hold, only for Zink to regain control with another wrist lock of his own. Austin attempts to escape with a snapmare takeover, but Zink stays one step ahead, returning to the wrist lock on the match and applying pressure to Austin's arm. The champion eventually reaches the ropes to force the break. Austin regroups and returns to the headlock, but Zink sends him into the ropes. Austin knocks Zink down with a shoulder tackle, and the two continue exchanging headlocks and shoulder blocks, neither man able to establish extended control. Austin gains the advantage by pulling Zink's hair during the exchange and sending him into the ropes. He follows another shoulder tackle before catching Zink with a kick to the midsection and a headlock takeover. Zink counters with head scissors, but Austin escapes. As both men battle near the ropes, referee Nick Patrick steps in to separate them. The technical wrestling continues, with Austin applying another headlock before pulling Zink down to the mat. Zink answers with another head scissor escape, But when Austin breaks free, Zink immediately catches him with an arm drag and transitions into an arm bar. Austin eventually escapes by raking Zink's eyes and falls up for punches to regain control. He slows the pace with another headlock before sending Zink into the ropes. Austin charges him, and Zink catches him with a sharp savate kick to the face. Zink builds momentum with an Irish whip and a big back body drop and a near fall. Frustrated, Austin rolls to the outside to regroup. When Zink attempts to follow, referee Nick Patrick prevents him from continuing the attack. Austin takes advantage of the opportunity by climbing onto the entrance ramp, but Zink launches himself over the top rope with a spectacular crossbody onto the champion. Zink then throws Austin back in the ring and climbs to the top rope looking for another high-risk maneuver. However, Austin moves out of the way, sending Zink crashing into the canvas. The champion immediately goes on the offense, kicking Zink in the head before pulling him up and delivering several punches. Austin then applies a reverse chin lock using the middle rope for extra leverage until referee Nick Patrick catches him and forces him to break the hold. Austin sends Zink into the rope and connects with a devastating stun gun, dropping Zink throat first across the top rope. The champion looks to follow up, but Zink surprises him with a small package for a 2 count. Austin quickly recovers and he sends Zink into the ropes again. Zink reverses and locks in a sleeper hold in the middle of the ring. With the title in jeopardy, Austin desperately fights his way towards the ropes. Once he reaches the ringside, Lady Blossom provides him with a foreign object. Austin wraps the object around his fist and returns to the ring. He swings wildly, but Zink ducks the punch and counters with an atomic drop. However, Austin has suddenly hidden the weapon and cranks Zink in the face with a loaded fist. He gets the 3 count, and then he sneaks the taped object back to Lady Blossom, and she hides it inside her blouse. 9 minutes and 7 seconds. That's actually the same exact ending as how Savage wins the title from Tito at the Garden. But anyway, it's kind of a. As soon as I saw it, I went. There's the Tito move. I was like, there it is. It's Tito. So Zink is the perfect. Zink even kind of looks like a Tito Santana. But anyway, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. 9 minutes, 7 seconds. I like this match. What did I give it? Yeah, I gave it like 2.5 stars. I liked it. I liked it. It's Steve Austin. He does an awesome stun gun. Tom Zink is very passable as a guy. I almost feel like Tom Zink, although he does that dive when he misses a lot of times. So I don't know why he does that, but that's kind of like I'm almost gonna say that's a Tom Zink memorial crossbody. But what do you think?
This is another very danger potty kind of match.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, we kind of got used to him throughout because he's the TV champion a lot during that pod. And he gets his ass kicked a lot. He's a heel, obviously, throughout the whole thing. He is, like his lot in life is that he sells and he sells and he sells and he escapes with the win and usually cheats to get the win at the end. So, and if he's in there with like a Barry or somebody like that the crowd's really behind, he can have some really awesome matches. This match wasn't bad by any stretch or anything like that. I'd probably go like 2.25. But Zink's just not all that charismatic. No. I don't think he's particularly all that over with the crowd. I mean, he's over to a certain level, but this match was never going to get past a certain point. Like I said, Austin has a cheat to win when obviously I think he's like twice as good as Zink in every aspect of the business. Yeah, I mean, this is just his character. I mean, we kind of got, it kind of became dull to us at a certain point throughout that pod, and we kind of became numb to it. So we could kind of look past it, but this definitely brought up memories of that. But 2.25. Zink's just not the guy to kind of really elevate this past a certain point, and Austin can only do so much.
Sure.
When he's fighting from underneath for most of the match.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you completely. So we go to commercial break. We come back, and they're waiting for the contract signing. So we get a little bit of a Ron Simmons video package where he's at the YMCA in Atlanta, and he's talking to some young men and kind of giving them a good little pep talk about, just staying in school, being champions, something like that effect. But so pretty much basically your same deal going on here with Ron Simmons. We get to the contract signing now. And I thought it was great that the table at Ron Simmons, he's got his wife and then Big Dust And then as you look on the other side of it, you have Luger, Harley Race, and Mr. Hughes. Eric Bischoff's brought in to oversee the proceedings. All the dignitaries are there. They have the table set up. Simmons signs the contract. Luger goes to sign it. He takes the microphone, launches into a verbal assault, and then basically says to Simmons, that once he's done, he's going to give him this opportunity to become the first Black World Champion. But then once he beats him at Halloween Havoc, he can have a job for him. He goes, I got my bodyguard, I got my mentor, and basically he's like, you could be my driver. And then at that point, Ron Simmons just like leaps over all the tables and starts beating up Luger. All hell breaks.
Lunges at him.
Yeah.
It's pretty devastating. Yeah.
And then Luger basically escapes, and then him, Harley Race, and Mr. Hughes basically escape in the limousine as Ron Simmons is chasing them. And that's kind of how we end this contract signing, which I thought was pretty cool. Especially like Luger's rant was great. So
yeah, he tries to be a good guy, but then he gets in the kind of racist dickhead comment at the end. But obviously Luger is able to escape the attack. But another pretty solid segment. They do have to stall quite a bit. They show Simmons with the little kids. They show him at some kind of, I think it's kind of the same situation, but it's like he's like walking through like a festival or something like that with some kids kind of showing him the right way to do things and stuff. So they definitely stall a good bit, but to get this whole thing set up. But another solid kind of brawling segment in between some of these doo-doo shit matches.
You know, this truly is a historic occasion. I have to admit and give a man credit when credit's due. What a glowing tribute to the man, to the athlete, a pillar of the community, Ron Simmons. I had no idea, Ron. Retirement in front of 65, 70,000 people in Jersey, your locker, plexiglass den, what a feeling that must be. The Boys Club, all the community service that you do, it's a real tribute to you. And because of that, Ron Simmons, I am going to give you the opportunity, and this is a historic occasion, to become the first Black World's Heavyweight Champion. And as a side note, Ron, when it's all said and done, the total package is still the world's heavyweight champion. I want you to know we started a great team here, and because of the kind of man you are, you'll always have a position with me, a lot of fringe benefits, a lot of perks. I've got my mentor, I've got my bodyguard. I had maybe you being a driver. I need a good chauffeur.
Oh, that was too much. That was too much. Simmons coming after Luger. Simmons trying to tear Luger's head off. The contracts have been signed. Hughes is leveling anything that moves. That was so insulting from the pompous world heavyweight champion. And there you see, they're trying to get him out of here. Hughes putting Luger in the limousine. Race following him in. They've signed the contracts. What an insulting remark by Lex Luger. They've got into the stretch limousine. Simmons kicking it in. He wants to fight right now. And there goes the world's champion. Fans will be back. The World Tag Team Championship is next.
And then that comes to the main event of the evening. So we are here. The Enforcers, Arn Anderson. Larry Zbyszko. There he is. This is Larry. Going up against Rick Kazmaier and Bill Steiner. Rick Steiner and Bill Kazmaier. This is the vacant tag team championship. They kind of go in and they explain that the Enforcers defeated the Young Pistols, and Steiner and Kazmaier defeated the Ring Lords so they defeated the Ring Lords and then one man gang and the Executioner to advance to the finals, while the Enforcers defeated the Young Pistols and the Patriots. So those are your tag teams in 1990. Can you imagine? Those are your tag teams in 1991. I mean, I'll take the Young Pistols because at least they're, an actual
And up
real
and
tag
coming.
team. But like the Ring Lords, who the fuck were the Ring Lords?
More like the ringworms.
And then One Man Gang and the Executioner. Come on, seriously, this is what we had for a tag team tournament.
Yeah,
This is
a bad mode of transition. For them.
mean, they don't have Doom. They don't have this. Well, they don't have. They don't have Doom. They don't have the Freebirds. I guess they didn't have the Freebirds in the tournament. They don't have the Midnights. They don't have the Rock and Rolls. So they didn't have the Road Warriors. They didn't have. They don't have the Skyscrapers. They don't have fucking anybody anymore. All those great tag teams that had dominated the Clashes from like 88 up till now are fucking gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Like no Dynamic Dudes, even like no Fantastics. Like they got nobody left. It sucks. Damn.
Yeah, this is a bad era of transition for them.
Yeah.
And honestly, Arn and Larry end up being one of the better teams throughout the time. So
well, yeah, because you have to go, and you have to go to. Well, then Dustin and Barry team up for like a hot minute, because then they injure Barry, and then
that's what happens. He gets injured at Halloween Havoc. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then they bring in Ricky Steamboat, and Ricky Steamboat wrestles with Dustin, which is good. But then like Ricky Steamboat wrestles with Shane Douglas. It's like that's like your tag. It's just 91-92 is like a weird year for tag teams, but I'm stalling because this match is not very long and it's also not very good either. So anyway, the finals we determined.
You don't say.
Obviously, earlier in the night, the Enforcers sent a message before the match even begins. During Bill Kazmaier's test of strength, Anderson and Zbyszko attack him, smashing him with that steel weight plate, attempting to bend the iron bar. Steiner comes out, as you said, late and makes the save. But the damage had already been done, leaving Kazmaier heavily taped heading into this championship bout. I feel like Steiner was just going to take this all on his own. And he was like, I got this, bro. Just stand there and you could just hold the belt up. It's kind of like...
Just get out of my way.
Let me feed my birds. It's kind of like that where Braun Strowman had Little Nick with them or whatever. And that was like, just stand there and stay there. But could you imagine Rick Steiner saying to his kindergarten teacher, leave me alone. Just get out of my way. I just want to sit here and feed my birds. You want me to do what? Anyway.
And then he just starts going at her.
Very quickly. As soon as he hit puberty, he went from John Mulaney to Rick Steiner. As the bell rings, Rick Steiner immediately charges into action, attacking both members of the Enforcers. Steiner takes control early, catching Larry Zbyszko, but a hip toss before planting Arn Anderson with a powerful Steiner slam. Steiner hooks up the leg, but Zbyszko breaks up the pinfall attempt before the 3 count. The Enforcers quickly shift the momentum by isolating Steiner. Zbyszko traps him in an armbar before tagging in Anderson, who continues working over the injured arm. Meanwhile, Bill Kazmaier remains on the apron, heavily taped and clearly not at full strength. They're saving the tugboat for the end. Zbyszko returns to the match and applies a reverse chin lock, slowing Steiner's momentum. Steiner fights back, but Zbyszko cuts him off with a suplex for a 2 count. The Enforcers continue their textbook tag team offense, wearing down the former champion. Anderson tags back in and attempts a suplex, but Steiner counters and creates an opening. The tag brings Zbyszko back into the ring, who sends Steiner into the turnbuckles. The Enforcers begin double-teaming Steiner with punches, but Rick fights back with a huge Steiner line on Anderson and strikes Zbyszko. Steiner looks to capitalize by taking on Anderson towards the top turnbuckle, but Larry Zbyszko attacks from behind. Anderson climbs the second rope and crashes down a devastating clothesline, knocking Steiner down. With Steiner in trouble, Bill Kazmaier finally tags himself into the match. Kazmaier enters with tremendous power, immediately overpowering both Enforcers. He scoop slams Arn Anderson and then attempts to press slam Larry Zbyszko. However, the injured ribs from the earlier attack proved to be the deciding factor. As Kazmaier struggles with Zbyszko, Anderson targets the taped ribs, causing Kazmaier to collapse. The Zbyszko falls on top of Kazmaier for the 3 count. The winners of the new WCW World Tag Team Champions are the Enforcers at 3 minutes and 33 seconds. That's what happened. I gave it 0.5 only because Steiner line, and then that looked good. And I didn't want to totally shit all over Larry and Arn Anderson winning the tag titles, but Bill Kazmaier stuff was fucking garbage. He would have been better off I guess it made sense because Rick was the former champion. He has to wrestle with somebody, but I don't know what they were doing with Bill Kazmaier, and it's kind of good that he didn't stay around very long. So,
it just wasn't for him for sure. I would probably go about a half star on as well. It just doesn't have enough time to really percolate or do anything really. They just don't give it any time. Steiner's pretty impressive on offense to begin. But obviously, the numbers kind of catch up on him eventually. And then Kazmaier, you can tell Rick's trying not to tag Kazmaier in because of the ribs, and then he tags himself in. And obviously, the Enforcers, being the great tag wrestlers that they are, they immediately hop on the injury and take advantage of it and end up winning the titles. This just feels so shitty for like a tournament final. Like, obviously, you talked about the dregs of the other teams that were in this tournament. So, there wasn't really a good final to be had, I don't think. But this just doesn't feel like it fits like the idea of what a tournament final should be.
No, but they really didn't have much else.
Yeah, there wasn't
going for them. So
another real option.
Yeah. We do end the show with an awesome promo from both of the Enforcers because, that's just how it is. And you're not going to have. There are very few people in this world that are a better wrestling promo than Arn Anderson. And as much as I have grown to love Larry, so I'm going to give Larry his flowers here. He's great on this as well. So, we got
he's nothing if not a good promo.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that at least.
The Enforcers, the new World Tag Team Champions.
Jim Ross, tonight we proved the theory of navigation. The biggest, strongest, most powerful sailboat in the world can't budge 1 inch if it don't have any wind. You're the strongest man in the world, Kazmaier, but if you can't breathe, you can't win. Tonight, the last thing we leave you with is we return these belts, not to rock stars, not to rappers, to 2 plain old journeyman wrestlers.
Hey, while America was at home sitting on their brains, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko proved it don't matter how many muscles you have, it doesn't matter how many takedowns you learned at some jerkwater college. There's no more easy way you want these. You have to go through the Enforcers.
Fans, for Tony Schiavone, I'm Jim Ross. So long for the Clash of Champions.
So that's going to wrap it up for Clash of the Champions. Now, Logan, real quickly, I do want to just tell you what was going on the other side of the world with the WWE at that time. And so they didn't have anything on September 5th, but they did have 2 shows on September 6th. And we had 2 house shows. We had in Cincinnati, Ohio, we had Jim Duggan versus Hercules. We had the Bushwhackers versus the Beverly Brothers. We had Ricky Steamboat going up against Skinner. We had Bret Hart as your Intercontinental Champion going up against the Warlord, who was substituting for Mr. Perfect. We have the $1 Million Champion Virgil versus Ted DiBiase. Now, remember, this is right after SummerSlam. So we had the Tag Team Champions, the Legion of Doom, going up against the Nasty Boys. And we had Sid Justice substituting for the Ultimate Warrior versus the Undertaker. So that was your card on September 6th. And the other card that they had was in White Plains, New York at the Westchester Country Civic Center. You had Tito Santana going up against Bob Bradley, who substituted for the Warlord. You had Typhoon pitting Greg Valentine, who was substituting for Sid Justice. You had Marty Jannetty and Jim Powers, who was substituting for Shawn Michaels, defeating Pat Tanaka and Colonel Mustafa, who was substituting for Kato. Can you imagine that fucking match? Marty Jannetty and Jim Powers against Pat Tanaka and Colonel Mustafa. And in this matchup, the Rocker pinned the friggin' Orient Express. Jannetty pins Tanaka. Jimmy Snuka pinning the Barbarian. IRS defeating Jim Neidhart. And what I'm guessing is the main event, the Boss Man defeated the Mountie in a steel cage. So interesting. 2 days later, though, the next day, on September 7th, So 2 days after this airs, they do the King of the Ring tournament in Providence, Rhode Island. That was the thing they used to do every year in Providence. And you know who won that King of the Ring tournament in 1991?
The Hitman.
That's right. He beats IRS with a roll up at the 10-minute mark. So
he technically goes back to back, but it's not.
Yeah, because I don't think they don't do one in 92. So yeah, I think So there you go. Oh wait, doesn't he win it in 92? 90 as well, I should say.
Nah, I think somebody else. I can't remember who it is, but it's somebody else.
Yeah.
I know DiBiase wins one. I think Tito wins one.
DiBiase might have won the one in 90, I feel like. Savage wins one.
Yeah, Savage wins one.
Yeah.
But that's not how he gets the king gimmick. He
had
already,
he had already he beats Dugan for the King of the Ring. So Jim Dugan. So that is gonna wrap it up for Clash of the Champions 16. Logan, thank you so much for doing this with me. And it's always so much fun to podcast with you. Is there anything in particular you would like to plug aside from all the shows that we do here on the Backbone?
I mean, yeah, definitely just check out everything we've got going on here at the Backbone Wrestling Network. We have stuff pretty much every day, minus every other Sunday, I guess, but pretty much every day a week. Other than that, Mondays we got the cross up. Tuesdays we have New Gen on a Mission and kind of a rotating cavalcade of you and Sean Kids pods where y'all talk about lunacy and Larry Z and Ronnie Garvin and all that kind of stuff. So you talk about shit takes that aren't actually shit takes. I'm just playing. Yeah, we do have and then on Wednesdays we have like a rotating like once a month kind of pods like this one. YouTube roulette. We have your cooking show, and I can't remember exactly what the other Wednesday is, but always a rotating kind of show there. Thursdays we have Highway to the Impact Zone and Meltzer Knows Best, and then Fridays we have like another kind of rotating situation of you and Sean shows and the Russo pod. And now, speaking of the Dangerous Alliance pod, we've been talking about the whole time. Crock and Roll has finished up the kind of the remastering of all those, and we're going to have now the 7 Months of Danger is going to drop on Saturday. So, and then obviously me and you have Arrow on Sundays. Arrow row your boat on Sundays. So, and then Matt Souza recently started posting his old Piece of the Action episodes. I think he's doing just the ones with Backbone adjacent people on them. So he'll release about one of those a month for the next little while. So definitely check out everything we got going on here.
All righty, awesome. And don't forget, you're also on Talking Docs when that comes back.
That is correct. We'll see when that maybe comes back at some point.
But that's on the North South Connection Podcast Network.
That is correct.
Yeah. So, all right. And you can also catch me on Everything Logan Said, as well as GFA Live with PD Winston, and also through North South Connection Podcast Network under the Jenny Position banner. You can hear me on Exposition usually, which is the foremost X-Men pod on the North South Connection Podcast Network, where I go on there to share my thoughts with Jenny and our own Tim Capel. So with that, you can catch us anywhere you like. Mr. Logan Crosland, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you at the next Clash. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.